I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Kevin Stefanski is a clown. He's a clown. Cleveland Browns are a clown organization too. But let's be very clear. Shedeur Sanders had a bad game. It happens. You're in this league. You're never going to be perfect. CJ Stroud had an amazing first season. Second season, not so much. Trevor Lawrence got paid top five money, played the way he did last season. It happens to quarterbacks of all types of seasons, and Shador is a rookie. So bad things happen. It just does. And I'm not worried about Shador. I think that people who are persecuting him for having a terrible game today were going to do so at any point. They just were. And they were quiet his first outing. This is his second ever game in the NFL. He didn't play when he was injured during the Eagles. So I'm not a fan of what the Browns are doing. I do think they set him up for failure. They're using him for his popularity. And I think that if they do not cut him, they need to be investigated. I'm being very honest. If they do not cut him by Tuesday, the NFL someone needs to investigate the NFL and the Cleveland Browns. I'm being very serious because it's very clear the Cleveland Browns do not want Shedeur Sanders. It's very clear that they are not invested in his future. They do not have any type of good intent for this young man's career, and thus they should give him his walking papers and let him go find a team that desires him and wants to pick him up. And it's not about always being a starting quarterback. He can work his way into being a legit starter in the NFL someday, but he needs to be on a team that actually wants to have a winning culture. The Cleveland Browns have zero interest in ever establishing an actual winning culture, because if they did, they would have kept Baker Mayfield. They would not have given Deshaun Watson that ridiculous ass contract. The Cleveland Browns are not a serious organization. I do not like, when it comes to on the field, Shedeur Sanders should not taking that sack. He's done that in college too, where he will take ridiculous sacks. But an organization, a coaching staff that actually cares, would coach him up, would not have taken him, they would not have pulled him out of the game and let Tyler Huntley go play. And for those that will say, well, Tyler Huntley had the same exact O-line and receivers that Shedeur had, but he was able to lead a game-winning drive, do not take the context out of Tyler Huntley's play today. There was penalties, and he did not play that well, and he will be cut by Tuesday. For sure, Tyler Huntley will be cut by Tuesday, along with hopefully Shedeur and maybe Kenny Pickett. We'll see. I'm not a fan of how they treated. To be honest with you, I'm not a fan of how they treated Dylan Gabriel either. If I was Dylan Gabriel, honestly, I would want to go somewhere else too. But if they make him a backup number 2 on the depth chart, cool. But they did not give him any help either, and not even in terms of on the field. Because to me, they're calling the play calling and the setup is way different. It's night and day between Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. But if I'm Dylan Gabriel, I'm like, I'm not liking this media circus. I'm not liking the Cleveland reporting either. Like, they made Dylan Gabriel sound like he deserved to be out of the league. Like, he should have never been drafted to begin with. Like, he's a mistake, to be honest with you. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not saying Dylan Gabriel should leave, but I'm saying, like, if I was Dylan Gabriel, I would feel some type of way about the Browns too. Be a professional, show up to work, do what you do. But I'm just like, this organization is not serious. They're not serious about winning, bro. They're a clown show. They just care that they're fans, regardless of what product they put out there. They know that this fan base will go out there for any reason to go support. They'll give their hard-earned worked money to go watch Kenny Pickett play quarterback. They could say, Joe, thank you for your services, but Kenny's our guy. And people will still show up to watch the Cleveland Browns play football. That is why this organization does not care, because they care about money. They don't care about the future. They don't care about winning games. They don't care about making the playoffs. They don't care about being better than any team in that division. That's really hard. They just don't care. They gave up hope. They're like, we can never get someone better than Lamar, better than Joe Burrow, and better than whatever quarterback that the Steelers be putting out there. I know they have Aaron Rodgers this season. Not impressed by him. Cleveland is cooked. And today showed me that they're not a serious organization and that they are just embarrassing Shedeur Sanders. And I just think that Shador not having grace to be allowed to have a bad game shows you what type of situation he is in. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the hand he's been dealt with. Because there are quarterbacks who have taken wild sacks before. There are quarterbacks that have interception problems. There are quarterbacks that have problems fumbling the ball. They can't get touched without fumbling the ball. They can't get they have no pocket presence or awareness. There's so many situations, bro. But to say that Shador in his second game ever in the NFL in a preseason game gets no grace, Mitchell Trubisky got more grace than Shedeur Sanders is getting. I bet Jamarcus Russell got more grace than Shedeur Sanders is getting. I mean, Jesus, guys, let the dude develop. Let him develop. Let him develop. Let him get with a team that actually wants to see him succeed. And it's not about a team picking him up just because they want to be a week one starter or want him to be the future starter. It's just like, hey, you're a part of our organization, you're a part of our team, and we're not going to actively try to embarrass you in front of the world. Like, we want you to be good, and if you can work your way up to be QB 1 or 2 on our depth chart, awesome. No one should complain about having too many good, competent quarterbacks on your roster. No one should. So I don't like this bullshit that's happening right now. I really don't. I think Cleveland, and like I said, and I'll say it again, I think Cleveland is a joke. I think Kevin Stefanski knows this is his last season. And the biggest winners, I can tell going to week one, the biggest winners of the preseason for the Cleveland Browns is the 2026 draft class. That's who won. Because this Cleveland Browns team is on serious, and I predict them not winning more than 6 games. They're not winning more than 6 games. They are not beating any team, and they're not beating any team in their division once. That's as shitty as the Bengals defense is. I do not believe the Cleveland Browns, as currently constructed, I'm talking about from ownership all the way to the 53rd guy on your roster. This whole team just is so unserious. It's so unserious. And I honestly would love to hear from Cleveland Browns fans, because I know what it's like to have a drought and have some bad ownership, have a head coach that's just very unserious and dealing with bullshit, dealing with a constant quarterback carousel. I know. So I want to hear from y'all. What is it? What are your hopes going into the season? Like, do you hope to get a bad season so you can go get a quarterback from the quarterback-rich draft class coming up? Like, what are your hopes? Because to me, every single time Cleveland drafts a quarterback, it does not turn out well. Every time Cleveland goes to get a quarterback, it doesn't turn out well. To me, Baker Mayfield was your best quarterback in a long time and just didn't work out. And I just don't know what else to do. If I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, I don't know how else to cope with this. I really don't. I think they're a joke. And I think that Kevin Stefanski has no actual reason for pulling Shedeur Sanders other than he wants him to fail or he doesn't care. Because winning this preseason game does not mean a single thing. Okay? The little amount of time Tyler Huntley played did not put any crazy tape on for anybody. I think that if you really cared about seeing, okay, let's see what we really got in Shedeur Sanders. Let's see what happens when he's still in you're in the position to still win the game. Leave him in there. Let him run a 2-minute drill. Let's see what he's really made of with this type of pressure. Let's see if he really falls. Let's see if there's actually some raw talent in there we can mold. Let's see if there's some coachable moments we can have going into the season that we can work with him. You know what I mean? Like, look at what Shiloh's doing. Shiloh has tremendously improved. He won't be a starter on defense. I said this since half through last year, I think Shedeur Sanders' bread and butter will be special teams. I think he will be a great special teams player, like a very great special teams player. And I think if he still stays at it, he will become a defensive starter one day. I really do believe that. But I do think his bread and butter will be starting on special teams. And there's nothing wrong with that. Make it how you can make it. Be a part of a team and win. I don't like it. And the same people bad-mouthing Shedeur Sanders after one bad preseason game are the same people that said Lamar Jackson was never going to be an NFL starting quarterback. So I don't take a single thing people say seriously. Shador, keep your head up. It was a bad day. It was a bad outing. It happens. Unfortunately, you felt an organization that doesn't care about you, does not care about your progress, does not want you to be a part of their team, and their whatever sad excuse of a culture they're trying to build there, they don't want you to be a part of that. That's fine. Hopefully, they release you so you can go to a team that cares about having players that are winners and have a great coachable mentality, and they want you there. Go where you're wanted now. Just do it. I hope they release him because I don't want to see this. I don't want a whole season of first take think pieces when the Cleveland Browns inevitably go 0-6. Because you know it's going to come back up again. It's going to be a whole thing. I don't want to see it. Dylan Gabriel, I hope they actually do take you seriously if you stay on this roster. I hope that when you get your time, because your time will come because it's Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, your time will definitely come. And I hope you ball out and you show the world how good you are. I hope. If they're going to take 12 seriously, I hope they take Dylan seriously because the quarterback in the next draft class is not going to help you, Cleveland. Is not going. Archie, if you think you're going to land Archie Manning, anyway, comment, like, subscribe, share. See y'all next one. Peace.